What happens at a federal sentencing? If you're a client or if you have a loved one going through a federal criminal case, hopefully the attorney has sat you down and talked to you about what happens at a sentencing. Generally, the process is very similar. We've done this in many different districts, and it's pretty much the same routine across the board. So the first thing that the court does is the court summarizes what the court has looked at in preparation for sentencing. Typically, it's the pre-sentence investigation report, the government submission, the defense submission, anything that was before the court in terms of evidence. Sometimes there was an evidentiary hearing that was done. That may also be something the court looks at, like a transcript of a FATICO hearing, but the court summarizes what the court has seen. Then the court asks if there are any PSR objections that have not been resolved. And this is different district by district, but sometimes objections are resolved beforehand. Other times they are resolved literally at sentencing. After the court does that, the court goes on to calculate the guidelines. And in most cases, there is a stipulated guidelines range. In most cases, the court agrees with the plea agreement because the probation agrees with the plea agreement. In some situations, the court calculates the guidelines a bit differently. After the court calculates guidelines, the court asks the government if there are any victim impact statements or victims that would like to address the court, and if there is victim notifications that was done, if the victims are present or if the victims have submitted letters, the court hears either their testimony or the court hears the content of their submissions if they want them to be read out in court instead of submitted to the court in letter form ahead of time. After that, typically the court wants to hear from the government and from defense counsel. The order as to who goes first generally varies, but typically it's the government first, then it's defense counsel, and then the client is given the opportunity to speak. If the client wants to do that, it's up to the client as to whether or not they wish to address the court at sentencing. And then the court imposes sentence, and sometimes the judge gets off the bench, sometimes the judge takes a break, other time you go straight through. So all in all, unless there was some sort of contested issue, a federal sentencing is probably about an hour.